Aloha! Thank you all for waking up this morning and coming in here. Did you get a good night's sleep? Oh, that's good. Excellent. Well, there's lots of people streaming in. I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Nancy Caruso. I am your naturalist for this cruise. I'm also a marine biologist. Is anybody here since we left Alaska? Well, anybody on the last Alaska cruise? Okay, a few of you. So you are familiar with my job. If you've never been on an Alaska cruise, you might not be familiar with a naturalist. I do not walk around naked on the ship. I don't sell herbs in the spa. A naturalist is a very old profession, actually. It's an expert of natural history or student of natural history. And so it's my job to interpret nature for you. And some very famous naturalists have lived throughout our lifetimes and hundreds of years before. Every expedition that crossed the globe with Captain Cook and Magellan, everybody had naturalists on board because it was their job. Charles Darwin was a naturalist. It was their job to draw and to notate all of the nature that they found on these expeditions. John Muir is my favorite naturalist. He's a famous naturalist of California. Started our national parks system, actually. And I'll be talking a little bit about him. So this young lady here in the front is doing the right thing. If you should feel sick, lay down. It's the only thing that helps you, actually, unless you're on drugs like me, and then you don't feel sick. But if you feel sick, just lay down. Don't be embarrassed about it. My husband's going to do that in the front row as soon as he's done talking here in just a second. So if you don't feel well, don't tough it out. Just go lay down. You can still listen to the show, or go to your room. You can go to your room. All right, but don't feel like you have to sit up and tough it out because it is a little rocky today. All right. So there's a picture of my face. I always put this up because everybody comes up to me and goes, "Oh, I can never see your face when you're on the stage." Yeah, well, so there it is. That's what I look like. And when I'm not on ships, I'm usually working about 4 months a year on ships in Alaska. And I'm doing this last crossing to San Pedro, and then I'm going home. I run a nonprofit organization called Get Inspired at home. And I do a lot of ocean restoration projects and environmental education with students. So for the last 17 years, I've been working on restoring the kelp forests of Southern California. I live in Orange County, California, and our kelp forests were gone for 25 years. They're home to over 800 different species of animals. So I found out that kids will work for free if you teach them something in school. So I have had 11,700 children that have raised kelp for me to plant back in the ocean, as well as abalone, now that I'm trying to restore them in our oceans, and also white sea bass. So I'm going home as soon as we get to Long Beach, San Pedro, and I'm going to be delivering fish 2 days later to all of my schools. I get back to work as soon as I get off the ship. Lots of children have been involved in these programs, as I said. Lots of animals and organisms have been planted back in the ocean. There's not a lot of people that do ocean restoration. A lot of people take things out of the ocean. This is the speech I give kids every year when we were releasing things. Not a lot of people take things out of the ocean. There aren't a whole lot of people that put things back in. As a matter of fact, my program is the only one in the country that raises organisms to release back into the ocean. Finfish and abalone and kelp. As I said, I do a lot of environmental education. So I take kids and adults, actually, out into nature to learn about science. So I go swimming with the world's largest fish down in Baja. I take the kids backpacking and camping and teach them how to do underwater research, scuba diving, kayaking, climbing, and every February during Valentine's week, I take people down to Baja to go hug the gray whales down there. It's the only place in the world where whales interact purposefully with humans. They bring their baby calves up to the surface of the water next to our boats and let us love on them. It's astounding. It makes me cry every time I do it. I've been doing it 15 years. All right, so I have lots of presentations all cruise. I have one every day except for the last sea day. And this is in preparation for and learning about Hawaii. So today I'll be giving you a big, broad overview called Islands of Aloha. Lots of facts about Hawaii. How many of you have been there before? Okay, about 60% of you have been there before. So hopefully you'll learn something new today. Tomorrow, I'll be starting to talk about the ports. Now, I'm not giving you the shore excursions necessarily. That's Jen's presentation today. But I'm going to be talking about the natural places on the islands to go and visit. I'll be talking about hiking, secret spots to go and sit on the beaches. Some of my favorite spots to go have a delicious lunch. Some of my favorite snorkeling spots and lookout spots. So lots of natural points to talk about the Hawaiian Islands. So I'll do Hilo, Maui, and Kona tomorrow, and then Kauai and Honolulu the following day. All right, Hawaiian coral reefs, and then volcanoes before we get to Hawaii. And then after we leave Hawaii, I'll be doing a program called the Great Polynesian Navigators. Please don't miss that. It's my favorite show to do of the 20-something shows I have for Carnival. And it is awesome. If you haven't seen it, maybe you've been on one of my Hawaii cruises before. It's an amazing story of the Polynesian navigators. So please be sure to be here for that. Reef romance, I called it Sex in the Sea, but Carnival wouldn't let me say the word sex. So it's called Reef Romance. Giants of the Pacific, all the biggest animals that live in the Pacific Ocean. And then lastly, Life of a Marine Biologist is all of the work and research that I have done in my lifetime. All of my shows are taped, and they're on channel 16. So if you miss one, or you fall asleep this morning, or if you have to lay down because you feel seasick, be sure to tune in on channel 16, and you'll be able to watch them to catch up. Some people say they sit and take notes because they didn't get it all during the show. Or I'll be showing lots of maps during my program. If you didn't bring your phone today to take pictures, you can watch again on TV to catch some of the info. All right, you're so lucky because there's so much programming going on during this cruise. You know, it's a longer cruise, it's Journey's cruise, so we have lots of things going on. And believe it or not, my husband surprised me yesterday. He was supposed to be going home back to California. He surprised me and stayed on. He's a wildlife photographer, and he teaches classes in photography for Carnival. And he was going to go home, but our 20th anniversary is on October 2nd, and he surprised me by staying on the ship so we can celebrate together. I know. So he's here. I had to throw this slide in there this morning. Hi, Tom. So Tom's going to be teaching about photography. I'll let you just let him give a sum up here real quick.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Pacific Ocean. It's going to be a fun ride. And when you get to Hawaii, my hope with some of the lectures I'll be presenting is to help you take some great photos. That's my passion. I love photography. I love exposing the unseen. That's my little motto. And I hope that you get a chance to come today. If you're not going to be out taking pictures underwater this trip, but you want to see some cool photos of some nice stuff underwater, come on out to my show. And if you are going to take pictures underwater, hopefully you'll learn a few things on how to take them a little bit better. So I've got a couple other shows about basic composition. So if you want to take better photos on land as well, I can help you with that. My purpose here on the ship is to get you to go home and be able to get one of your prints and make them really large and put it above your couch or something, somewhere in your house where you're like, wow, I took this photo. Isn't that amazing? So that's my job. If you see me on the ship, please stop me and ask for help if you'd like some. Be more than happy to share whatever I've learned with you, as well as some advanced camera techniques. Does anyone have a new camera that they wanted to bring with themselves to Hawaii? Perfect. Then come to that show as well, and I'll teach you how to take it off of auto, that scary thing that, all those other buttons are like, I don't know what they do. I'll help you with that. So hopefully we'll see you at least today. If not, the rest of the week as well. Here's Nancy.
Okay, and Tom's shows will be downstairs in the Firebird Lounge on deck 1. Oh yeah, there we go. I have a photo for you, Tom. So 11:45 in the Firebird. That's him with his underwater camera rig, taking pictures in Tahiti. Is anybody an underwater photographer? Oh, good. There's a few of you in here. Excellent. All right, so a few other things I'll be doing on the ship, not just presenting here in the theater, but I'll be doing nature walks. Did anybody come to my nature walk this morning? Yeah, nobody did. I was out there bundled in 6 layers of clothes with gloves and hat. So it was actually a mistake. It wasn't supposed to be in there because I knew it was going to be cold today. But tomorrow we're going to start with a nature walk. It'll be a little bit warmer, hopefully less windy. But the idea is, and if you just came from Alaska, you heard this from me 100 times, you don't get to see wildlife unless you go look for wildlife. So there's things swimming around this ship 24 hours a day. It's whether or not you see it that makes it memorable, right? So believe it or not, I have seen lots of stuff out in the middle of the ocean. As a matter of fact, if anybody is a marine mammal person, I saw a beaked whale a couple of years ago, which is, I probably will never see another one in my life because they only live out in the middle of the ocean. They live at about 3,000 feet of depth. They can stay down there for several hours, and it came up to the surface and jumped out of the water. And I would not have seen it ever if I hadn't been outside walking. So most of the time, even when I'm not doing nature walks, I'm outside walking because there's only one side of the ship to see wildlife on, right? The outside. Yeah, that's my Alaska phrase. So we're going to do that in the mornings at 8:30 or 8:15, whatever time they put it at. Check the fun times is the point. We meet at the ping pong tables, which is on deck 10 in the middle of the ship. So if it is windy, it's kind of protected. And I give you a little 5-minute talk about something interesting in the Pacific. And then we go for half an hour and walk around the decks. And you never know what you're going to see. So we've seen boobies and frigate birds and flying fish and beaked whales and dolphins and humpbacks. You never know. But you won't see it if you don't come. I can guarantee you that. So please feel free anytime during the cruise to get a hold of me through guest services. If you find something or see something, you get a picture of it. What was that? What is this in my photo? I can't do much with a blurry Loch Ness Monster-like shape. But I love playing that game of guess what this is. I literally love it. So please do ask. Flag me down. I'll be wearing colorful Hawaiian shirts the whole cruise, as most of you will too. But I have a name tag on. So please feel free to ask. And I'll also be doing wildlife watches on the bow as we come into the ports, the later ports. So Hilo and Kona, we arrive at 9 o'clock. So I figured we'd have everybody out there at 8 o'clock in the morning, especially Kona because we dock offshore. And there's wildlife all around us, literally all day long. Last year, we saw a whale shark. Yeah, next to the ship. Unbelievable. Okay, so check the fun times for times on that. And, of course, bring your binoculars if you have them. If you have a long lens, that'll do, too. And stargazing. Any amateur astronomers on board? Oh, good. Excellent. Please come, because I am an amateur astronomer myself. We'll be doing some stargazing. I only do it when we're close to the island, so it's a little bit clearer, maybe a little warmer. So we'll do it the last 2 sea days and then the first 2 sea days on the way back. And in October, if you are interested in stars, you can see the Southern Cross. It's going to be low on the horizon. Go up to Haleakala. That's the best place to see it. You can see the Southern Cross from Hawaii. So just to keep that in the back of your brains. All right, we are headed to beautiful Hawaii. Oh, I have Splendor on there. That's funny. Welcome aboard, Carnival Splendor. Going to a tropical paradise, the beautiful Hawaiian Islands, unlike any place on Earth. Unlike any place on Earth because of their isolation and geography. There's no other place like them. No other place has the plants and animals of the Hawaiian Islands. August 21st, 1959, it became the 50th state. Hawaii is the only U.S. state comprised entirely of islands. It's the only U.S. state not located in the Americas and does not observe daylight savings time, which actually might affect us. Because don't we change daylight savings time sometime soon? Okay, November. It's located about 2,300 miles from the nearest continental shore, and actually it's closest to Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, than any other United States shoreline. It's comprised of 143 islands spread out over 1,500 miles. By the way, as I said, I see a couple people. You're welcome to take photos of any of my slides. I'm going to be giving you lots of maps and locations of where places are and things to do. So please feel free to photograph the slides. 143 islands. We're just going to be visiting these last few down here, the most southeastern of the island chain. We're going to Hawaii, Maui, Oahu, and Kauai. Most people mess that up because it's tricky. Hawaii is an island and it's a state. And everybody thinks Honolulu is the name of an island. It's the name of the capital city, right? So we're going to Oahu, the city of Honolulu. And then really beautiful, the Kauai, the island of Kauai. The trade winds blow generally from the northeast. And so if you're a person that's looking to go to the beach, and I imagine some of you are, I need you to understand and remember this, because often our ship comes in on the opposite side that the trade winds blow. So we want to go to beaches that are protected, right, on this side of the islands, because it won't be as windy. As an example, in Maui, if you were to go to the beach that's just a mile away from our ship, you'd be sandblasted like sandpaper, and there's famous kite surfing there. Not a good place to go to lay on the beach, right? You want to go to the other side of the island, because we actually will be coming in here where the trade winds blow straight across the island. So you're going to want to come on this side, actually, some of the places that are protected from the trade winds. We have long days in ports, 9 to 6 p.m., 8 to 11, 9 to 6, 8 to 5, long days, perfect to enjoy the Hawaiian Islands. So I also want to help you figure out what you're going to do. If you've never been to the Hawaiian Islands before with our ship, there's some of the ports we arrive at. If you don't have a plan to go do something, there's literally nothing to do. There's no place to walk. There's no shops to see. So I want to make sure you know that and understand it so you can get the best vacation possible. Literally in Maui, if you don't have something planned, we're in a port. It looks like a prison, high security walls. And the only thing within walking distance is a Whole Foods market and a drugstore. That's all there is to do within walking distance. So you have to have a plan for that. So all of the ports we're visiting, Hilo, in order, Kahului, Kailua Kona, Lahui or Nuuliwili, and Honolulu. Starting off with the Big Island of Hawaii, which is where all the active volcanoes are, because it's sitting over the hot spot right now. That might not mean anything to you, but the people who went on the Alaska cruise understand it. We're going to be talking about volcanoes and plate tectonics right before we get there. The Big Island has so much to offer. We're headed into Hilo. We have Volcanoes National Park. We have Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, the tallest peak in the world from its base to its summit. I'll be talking all about this. Amazing. We're headed to Maui. Our port is right here, Kahului Harbor. The place to go and shop is over here, Lahaina, a 45-minute drive. It has Haleakala, a dormant but beautiful volcano. The road to Hana, as well as Makena and Kihei, beautiful towns to visit. We're going to the port of Kona, where we'll be anchored offshore. We'll be water shuttling to the shore. The birthplace of King Kamehameha the Great, with beautiful shorelines and coffee. Who loves Kona coffee? Oh, me too. Can't wait to have some. And then Kauai, the Garden Isle, with the gorgeous Nepali coast. Anyone planning on a helicopter tour of the Nepali coast? Wow. If you don't know what you're going to do in Kauai, and you can swing it, because it is expensive, I know. Tom and I did it one year, and we both were brought to tears by the gorgeous scenery. The fantastic Nepali coast, one of the most beautiful places on earth. Waimea Canyon, as big as the Grand Canyon. Yeah. And then we're headed in here in Nuuliwili. Hanalei Bay, the beautiful Kilauea Point. Any birders on board? Anybody watching for birds? That's a great place to go. All the pelagic birds hang out up there. And then the beautiful island of Oahu. We're headed into downtown Waikiki over here, just to the north of it. The Waikiki actually proper will be about a 15-minute drive away from our port. We have Hanauma Bay down here, the famous snorkeling spot. Pearl Harbor, of course, just to our west and north. The North Shore, famous for all of its surfing competitions. And beautiful Waimea Valley over here with the gorgeous gardens. The Hawaiian Islands were all birthed by volcano, birthed by fire. They were all formed by volcanoes. The oldest islands are the smallest because they've eroded away. They've been on the earth so long, the sea has taken them over. Most of them submerged underneath of the ocean now. They're on the northwest end of the chain, which formed 65 million years ago. And as I mentioned, underneath the Earth's crust, and we're going to get into this on Volcano Day, there is a really hot spot in the mantle down here, super hot. And the crust actually is thin there. So that mantle has an opportunity to burst through the crust of the Earth every time that Pacific plate moves, and we'll talk about why it moves. A new island is born in the Hawaiian island chain. The youngest and largest island is the Big Island of Hawaii. It's still forming today. The next island to form will be Little Lauihi, southeast of the Big Island. It's still 3,000 feet underwater and is estimated to grow to the surface around 50,000 years from now. So if you can hold out, there'll be a new carnival port in about 50,000 years. There's a lot of lore in Hawaii. We have Hawaiian ambassadors on board. Are they here by chance? Okay. We have Hawaiian ambassadors on board. These are people who are from Hawaii that are here to introduce you to their culture and customs. We have a state that has culture and customs that are separate from the textbooks we've read about American history, let me tell you. So an amazing opportunity, just like Alaska, where we have custom and culture different from our normal textbook custom and culture of the United States. You have that opportunity in Hawaii as well, to learn a different language, to learn different song, different dance. Take advantage of this part of our American history. Madame Pele, the goddess of fire, the goddess of creation, the goddess who is responsible for the creation of the Hawaiian Islands. Her hair is the flowing lava of the volcanoes that formed all of the islands. And her sister, the Maka'akaha, she, always feuding with her sister, over a man, of course, because she is creating, and she's the goddess of creation and destruction. Very interesting, because volcanoes both destroy and create. So she is constantly creating, and her sister, the goddess of water, is constantly eroding away what she's creating. Goddess of water. But the result are these beautiful beaches, black sand, pink sand, green sand beaches, all made up of the minerals from our Earth's mantle being ejected through volcanoes and eroded away by the ocean. Beautiful story. As of September 13th, 2018, there is no active lava in Hawaii. So did anybody get a chance to go see the active lava when it was flowing? Okay, yeah, a few of you. A few years ago, my first Hawaiian cruise, I believe. No, it was probably my fourth Hawaiian cruise. There was still active lava pouring from Kilauea. Kilauea has now stopped. There's no lava flowing whatsoever. So we're not going to be cruising by lava. There are vents that are steaming. You can still see that there's activity going around down in the mantle, but there's no place to see red hot magma. The Hawaiian Islands are the most isolated landmass in the world. And because of that, there are microclimates. There's lots of endemic species that occur there, nowhere else in the world. And they have rugged coastlines because the water is constantly eroding away. Kauai, the oldest island we'll be visiting. Please pay attention. When you visit the Big Island, you'll see long sloping hills. When you go to Kauai, which is much, much older, there's stark, very jagged, steep peaks because the water has already eroded away those nice, beautiful volcanic hillsides. So we're going to talk a little bit about these things. In addition, these microclimates, because the tallest mountains, some in the world, are on Hawaii. Anybody going to Mauna Kea? 14,000-foot peak that rises out of the ocean. You can drive from the ocean to 14,000 feet in an hour. If you've never been to 14,000 feet, it is a doozy. Most likely you'll get elevation sickness. So drink lots of water the day before and be prepared to feel a little dizzy up there I don't know about you, but there's not many places I can go in an hour to 14,000 feet. That's an amazing excursion in the middle of the Pacific to stand 14,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean on an island, for heaven's sakes. But these giant mountains, and you'll see all of the islands have them, create little microclimates behind them. Because the rains, the trade winds blow and get stopped by those mountains. So we'll talk about this later, but the Big Island has 13 climate zones. Amazing. You can go from a rainforest to a desert on the Big Island of Hawaii because of these little microclimates that occur on one side or the other, blocked by mountains. So that means if you're planning on going up to the top of a mountain, it might be 90 at the beach. It's going to be 25 degrees at the top of the mountain. So don't forget that. It's not 90 up there, right? It's going to be cold. Hawaii is isolated from the rest of the world, and because of that, the flora and fauna are very different. They've been evolving there for a period of over 5 million years. So it literally is a genetics lab. There's a great documentary. I think it was done by the Discovery Channel, but it's called The Pacific Islands. And it's all the Pacific Islands they go and visit. And how did animals and plants get there? Well, we can track that now because new islands pop up all the time. Last year, a new island formed off the coast of Tonga, erupted out of the ocean, brand new. We can watch the whole evolution of that island right now. Guess what's growing there first? Palm tree, of course. Palm seed landed there. One of the first things to hit the island, palm tree is growing. The way that things start to colonize these islands are 4 different systems: wind, waves, wings, or man. It's the only way they can get there. And so the message, if you're going to Haleakala National Park, for instance, every national park has a message. Did you know that? Every single one has a message. If you've never gotten the message when you visit the national park, try doing the Junior Ranger program. I do them at every park. Because you get the message that they're trying to give you. You're forced to do it. They make you do activity books. This is the message of Haleakala National Park. Wind, waves, wings, or man. They're trying to preserve what they can in Hawaii, but every person that comes on land is bringing something with them. Pollen spores, fungus spores, seeds, bacteria, viruses. It's very difficult with all these visitors who come. That's why you're not allowed to bring anything off the ship. No soil, no plants, no vegetables, no fruits, no teas, nothing. So know that now. You can bring a bottle of water, that's it. There are more than 5,000 endemic species in Hawaii. That means they occur there and nowhere else in the world because they have evolved there. Like this one here, the nene, the state bird of Hawaii. It's from a DNA ancestry of the Canadian goose. Somehow got there 5,000 years ago and started evolving. This one, the silver sword, found in many different ecosystems of Hawaii, all different species, comes from a sunflower in California genetically. And this one, the hoary bat, it's the only endemic mammal in Hawaii. Hawaii has 2% of the land mass of the U.S. and 25% of the endangered species. It has 70% of all U.S. extinctions because it's an island and we're all making an impact on it. Very difficult to manage. I'd hate to be the wildlife manager for the state of Hawaii. Stay up all night. So the state has lots of messages that they want us to share with you, this being one of them: to take nothing but photographs, leave nothing but footprints, and keep nothing but memories. You all saw the Brady Bunch episode when Greg and his brothers took a piece of lava and the little totem from Hawaii. Bad luck forever. There's actually stories of the Rangers getting pieces of lava sent back in the mail for the last 50 years. Because of that, everybody sends back the pieces because they don't want the bad luck. So don't take it in the first place. And of course, it was settled by the greatest navigators in the history of our world, the Polynesians. This is a fantastic story. I hope that you'll come and listen. It'll be on the first sea day when we come back from Hawaii to explain how this culture created navigation, came to the Hawaiian Islands, and then lost that ability to navigate. And it has been reborn now. It's a fantastic story. It's actually the story of Moana. You saw that Disney movie? This is the real story. It's based on this. Now, the Hawaiians are thought to have originated here along Southeast Asia originally, where they slowly traveled across, settling the Fijian Islands, Tonga, Samoa, Tahiti, the Marquesas Islands, where they originally came and visited Hawaii around 300 AD, and then it's thought that the Tahitians arrived around 1200 AD. Before any European had even decided to get in a boat, this was happening. And they lived in splendid isolation for about 600 years, living simply on these islands. Amazing story. I hope that you'll come and listen. Captain Cook, James Cook, came and visited, and of course had lots of things they'd never seen before, like nails. Wow, amazing. Ammunition, guns. So this kind of the set of events that started to change the Hawaiian Islands. King Kamehameha was a wise ruler. He was actually a tribal leader on one of the islands, but had a dream when he was a child that he would be a great ruler of all of Hawaii. And when Captain Cook arrived with all these great machines for helping him and his army to take over all the Hawaiian Islands, well, his dream came true. So he actually took over as ruler, King Kamehameha the Great, and ruled over all of the Hawaiian Islands. He increased foreign contact and trade, did a whole lot in his lifetime to, again, change the face of Hawaii. And then he had a long-lived monarchy of sons and daughters until 1893, actually, when the United States government took over the United States, essentially from Queen Iuliukalani, here over on the left-hand side, putting her on house arrest and taking over the United States forcefully. The missionaries arrived in 1820, and they came to do good, and they did really well. The sugarcane industry was the first agricultural industry. It brought the Chinese, the Filipinos, the Portuguese, and Japanese workers. So you're going to see a lot of culture in Hawaii, lots of different types of people. And it started when the industry of agriculture started to boom. Sugarcane, which is no longer farmed in Maui like it used to be. They used to burn the fields. The air pollution was horrible. It's no longer farmed there anymore commercially. And of course, it became the 50th state on August 21st, 1959, and that changed Hawaii as well. The Hawaiian has its own language. From 1830 to 1950, English became the official language, but all the missionaries translated the Bible phonetically for the Hawaiians. So you'll notice some of the Hawaiian words have 26 letters in them, but they all sound like they're spelled. So you can actually sound out the words. It looks very daunting, but I promise you can actually speak Hawaiian if you can read it. But Hawaiian, the language nearly died out because the missionaries and the farmers forbid the language to be spoken. Just like in Alaska, as you learned, they would put chemicals in your mouth if you spoke the Hawaiian language. Make you hold soap in your mouth if you spoke the Hawaiian language to try to get people to stop. So the Hawaiian language began being taught again in schools in 1984. This was after the Renaissance of Hawaii that I'll be talking about during my Navigators program. In 2001, there was 0.1% of the population were native speakers. And I'm happy to say that the Hawaiian language is now more prolific. There's also another language in Hawaii called Pidgin. And if you go to visit any local places or even the national park, some of the rangers are Hawaiian, and you'll hear a really weird accent with some Hawaiian words and some American English words. It's really interesting to listen to. So see if you can find somebody speaking Pidgin in Hawaii. There's only 7 consonants, and they have the 5 vowels that we have in the English language. Of course, because the missionaries made this up. But they established the Hawaiian Bible, and Hawaii is the only state to have 2 official languages. So they actually have 2 languages they can speak in their government meetings and in schools, in government buildings as well. So I'm going to teach you a little bit of Hawaiian. I know the Hawaiian ambassadors will be on board teaching you Hawaiian, as well as ukulele and hula to get you ready for our trip. So take advantage. Again, this is a part of American history that you don't get to learn anywhere else. So let's learn a few words. Number 1, aloha. Everyone say aloha. This is such an important word, as it's probably the only one you might know in Hawaiian, because it means so many things, but everyone knows exactly what you mean when you say it. So aloha can mean hello, it can mean goodbye, it can mean kind of a I love you, you're beautiful, thank you for everything that you do. It's a universal word of appreciation and gratitude and respect, which you usually do when you're saying goodbye and hello. But it's a beautiful word, so use it. It means a lot of things, but it's all positive, all beautiful. We'll also use another positive word, mahalo. Mahalo means thank you. And of course, if you can say hello and thank you, you can pretty much get by in any country, right? We need one more. Bathrooms. Usually those 3, you'll get by in any country. So let me tell you how to do that. Wahine, important, say wahine. And kane, because that's what the bathrooms are labeled with. And remember, in Hawaii, men wear skirts, so you can't go by the picture. So those are important, okay? Let's see, what else? Ono. Ono is delicious. If you're going to eat somewhere, it's great. Somebody comes by and says, how's your meal? Ono. It's very ono. And you can have ono poo-poos. 2 words you don't put together very often. Poo-poos, of course, being the little appetizers, right? The poo-poo platter. Here's another one. The shaka. Shaka is this hand signal here. Can be done both ways, frontwards or backwards. And it's not an official salute. It's kind of a casual thing. You don't ever salute anybody with the shaka. I think that's a Megadeth thing, that one. Or maybe it's that one. So you have the shaka, and this is kind of it's also a greeting, kind of a respectful, but more informal. A respectful, but, hey, brother, aloha. Yeah, how you doing? It's a little casual. You can also use it as a thank you. If you're at a stop sign, somebody lets you go, you wave a little shaka at them. You want to say hello from across the room. How you doing? You posing in a picture. That's aloha. Okay, so a little bit of down-home information for you so you can blend in with the locals. The attire of Hawaii, my favorite clothing on the planet. I own a whole closet full of aloha shirts because of the way they make me feel. I love the feeling of aloha shirts. Bright, colorful flowers. It puts me in a great mood. They're always comfortable, right? You don't wear girdles under aloha shirts, right? They're wonderfully comfortable. They're breezy, so the coastal trade winds can blow through them and keep you cool when it's a hot day. And so I will go over a little bit of history of the aloha shirt, but most of you probably brought some, and if you didn't, guess what? They'll sell them to you when you get there. The aloha shirt actually started in 1930. There was a local 5 and dime store that had some prints fabric made. Now, Hawaiian clothing traditionally was not made of cotton. It was actually made out of some tree bark, like they make in Tahiti, the tapa cloth. But they usually used some, the scenery that they were used to looking at, palm trees, flowers, hula, perhaps, dancing people. And so this gentleman sold the fabric, and this was during the time when there were tourists coming to Hawaii. People were buying it because it reminded them of the place that they were visiting. And so he made some shirts, and those sold out very quickly. So it became a thing when you brought them home, and people would say, oh, I want to get one of those. You can only get them in Hawaii. My parents went to Hawaii in 1970 for their honeymoon. They both bought this exact shirt from Blue Hawaii, right? And Elvis wore that. They brought it home, put it in the closet, never wore it again. Because for a long time, you couldn't wear that anywhere but Hawaii, unless you were dressing up for Halloween. Now it's totally open. Anybody, Pennsylvania can wear Hawaiian shirts. My mom finally said, I can wear your Hawaiian shirt in Pennsylvania now. Because I give her Hawaiian shirts from every now and again, because I love them so much. In 1956, Elvis made that shirt famous, so people all over the world knew about Hawaiian shirts. In 1962, the House of Representatives in Hawaii decided that they would pass a rule that on Fridays during the summer, because it was so hot, you didn't have to wear a suit. You could wear these Hawaiian shirts that kind of symbolized Hawaii, and just on Fridays in the summertime. And then that became pretty popular, and everybody thought that was neat. You're showing up to a meeting for the government in your Hawaiian shirt, and people wanted to take pictures of the governor and all of the congressmen when they were coming out of meetings. So they started wearing them every Friday throughout the whole year. And this is what became Casual Fridays in the 48 states next door, on the mainland. And now a lot of places, people wear Hawaiian shirts on those Casual Fridays on the mainland. Now, I also point out, this shirt looks like it's inside out. There's some Hawaiian shirts that will have the bright colors on the inside and then the dull colors on the outside, because you don't always want to be bright, right? That's actually why they did that. And if you're going to a funeral, for instance, you can wear Hawaiian shirts, but you might not want to be so bright on an occasion that isn't bright and cheery. So there's Hawaiian shirts that may look like they're inside out, but they're actually not. Flowers are a huge part of Hawaiian culture. They're all, everywhere we go, you're going to have an opportunity to buy and get flowers. Gorgeous flowers that grow there and nowhere else in the world, some of them. This is the state flower of Hawaii, the yellow hibiscus with the red center. And people will wear flowers adorning their bodies as accessories. People will wear flowers in their hair. And I know some of you ladies will start doing this on the cruise, so I want to make sure you have this correct. If you wear it on the left side, you're taken. On the right side, you're available. In the middle, you're desperate. So no flowers here on the top. Leis, also very popular in Hawaii. Considered like a piece of jewelry, given as gifts for graduation, like you would give someone a flower. For graduation, for a date night out, instead of a corsage, you wear a lei. For any special occasion, graduations, birthdays, baby showers, and men wear them too. Now there's very fragrant leis, and then there's leis that are just leaves, tea leaves. There's leis that don't have fragrances. And those will be available all over Hawaii as well. Then this lei here is actually made of a nut, the kukui nut. Comes from the candle nut tree, which is the state tree of Hawaii. And often it's a little more masculine looking lei. Often men will be wearing these leis, but I have some too. I think they're beautiful. They're very expensive to get the real kukui nut. So the ABC stores, of course, will have plastic kukui nut leis for you as well. Ukuleles. Anybody play ukulele? Yeah, you'll have an opportunity to learn while you're on the ship. What a gift. They have them here. You can play them, learn a few songs before you get there. And this is a huge part of Hawaiian culture. Everywhere you go, there will be ukuleles. It's very much a part of family celebrations. If the family gets together on Sunday nights for dinner, someone will be playing ukulele. If you have a church service going on, there may be ukuleles playing in church, or maybe outside as you're leaving. When people walking out, someone will sit down and play ukulele. A friend of mine was a carnival musician, used to bring his ukulele on board, and then even in Alaska, he would go outside and carry it with him. Everywhere we went, he'd pull it out and play a little song. You always have a friend when you have music, right? He made friends everywhere he went. There's different types of ukuleles, soprano all the way to baritone. So you'll have to choose what kind of ukulele you want to learn how to play. And you might run into this gentleman here, at least a statue of him, Duke Pahoa Kohanamaku is the 3-time Olympic medalist, won the gold in 1922 and introduced surfing to the world. He was the Hawaiian ambassador of Aloha. He actually visited Australia, visited the mainland of the US, visited New Zealand, and brought surfing with him across the globe because he was a waterman and he brought aloha with him all over the world. He has statues erected to him around Hawaii. So if you see this statue, it's usually adorned with reverence leis, thanking him for his service to the Hawaiian Islands and to the people of Hawaii, to show people the beauty of the Hawaiian people around the world. And I actually heard a story when I was in Australia that when he came there, of course he couldn't travel with his big redwood 12-foot long surfboards. So he would go to wherever he was traveling to, get a tree and carve a surfboard when he got there to show the people about surfing. And so he's kind of responsible out of the South Pacific for showing the world what surfing's all about. And then the coral reefs of Hawaii, unlike any other coral reefs in the world. Animals and corals that live there and nowhere else on the planet. So if you've been to the Caribbean, it's nothing like that. If you've been to the islands of the South Pacific, like Tahiti and Moorea and Bora Bora, it's nothing like that. Because they're so isolated, it's a very unique ecosystem. So get wet, go snorkeling. All of you have a reason why you came on this cruise. And it might be because you wanted to go see what's underneath the water. Go check it out. Lots of opportunities to do so by getting wet, put your face in the water, snorkeling. There's even glass bottom boat tours. You don't even have to get wet. You can sit in a boat and watch what's going on underneath. Hawaii's marine mammals, there's many of them, live there, nowhere else in the world. The endangered monk seal, there's about 1,300 of them left on the planet. Kauai is the best place to spot them. I usually see them hauled up on the beaches there, but you might get to see an endangered species in Hawaii. That's pretty exciting. Unfortunately, we share the same places, right? Where we live is where they haul out and give birth and rest. So that's why they're endangered. They also get caught in nets for fishermen. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of monk seals left on the planet. All the ones in the Caribbean have already been killed and they are extinct. So we may have a chance to see these guys. The humpback whales are not going to be there. They're in Alaska still. They're about to start turning around and heading down to Hawaii. The first ones will arrive probably mid-December and stay till about the end of March. So if you are looking for a way to see the whales, you can go on the Carnival Cruise in January, and they'll be down there. But there's no humpback whales there yet. Let's talk about food. Anybody going to a luau? Taste some Hawaiian food? Oh, delicious. Kalua pork. Poi. Oh, I know this is poi here. It doesn't give it a lot of character in this slide, but it's purple. Looks like purple soup. I encourage you to try things you've never tried before. Try some foods that you've never heard of before. That's what traveling is all about. See things, learn things, taste things you've never heard of. That's why we go out of our homes, out of our hometowns, out of our cities. There's a picture cooking in the imu, the fire pit down there with hot rocks, which cooks your food for you in the traditional Hawaiian fashion. You'll see lots of dancing, lots of song, costumes. Now, Hawaii does have some foods that are made and grown only in Hawaii. Coffee, chocolate, beer, macadamia nuts. Take advantage of all these things that you can taste and eat that are all from the Hawaiian Islands. And Spam! Hawaii consumes more Spam than any state, 7 million cans a year. It came with World War II, right? The soldiers had it. They didn't want to eat canned Spam. So they were trading it with the Hawaiians, and it stuck. So you can get Spam at McDonald's, at Burger King, at 7-Eleven, and go in the grocery store because they have 15 different kinds of Spam in the grocery store. Barbecue Spam, curry Spam, delicious. My father used to make me eat Spam. All right, home of the poke. Anybody gonna eat poke? It's not poke. Poke, yeah. Diced raw tuna with seasonings, seaweed, sesame oil, delicious. Don't be afraid to try it. It's coming to the mainland as well, if it's not already in your hometown. And shave ice. Not shaved ice, but shave ice. Delicious. Have some. It's uniquely Hawaiian. Actually originates from Japan, but the Japanese brought it to Hawaii with a little Hawaiian spin. This is my favorite shave ice place in Hilo. So as I said, the faces of Hawaii are very diverse. Lots of different cultures were brought in there to work the fields and to start businesses and to start new lives. So you may see lots of different types of Hawaiians. Lots of different types of Hawaiians. Actually, Hawaii is 41% Asian, 24% white, 7% Native Hawaiian, 7% Latino. 20% of the population is of mixed race, and 73% lives on Oahu. Yeah, there's a lot of people in Honolulu. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your introduction to Hawaii. I want to say mahalo for coming. Jen is coming out on stage here shortly to share with you all the fun things to do in Hawaii. And until tomorrow, a hui hao means I'll see you later. I'll be talking tomorrow about Hilo and Maui, our first two ports of call. Thank you so much for coming today.